once.
Cool.
Or close to it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
there we go.
Okay, cool. But right in lawn 1, you're just going to see straight up grass. All they have to do is clear off the grass. But on top of that, if you look at the top kind of fuel meter, that's going to be ticking down slowly. All they have to do in one level is clear all the grass. And Cosmic has run out of fuel, unfortunately. Zandra is the first to finish level 1. Coolkid right behind. Endy is finishing up as well, and they're getting into lawn 2.
I'm liking immediately Endy is like letting on and off of the accelerator to make some turns, and I've never seen someone be so willing to do that right at the start. Like everyone's always like very slow at the start or full speed all the time at the start. I think this bodes well for Endy's control over this thing.
Yeah, you need to be able to, especially as the harder levels. Right now, it might feel like he's kind of going to be tracking behind just because he isn't going fast all the time. But like you kind of saw there, he's going a bit slower to go through the small little crevices between these flowers, which look like bowling pins. If you hit a flower, it's not too disastrous. You just lose a bit of fuel, more than you would as if it was just time.
All right, so Zandra mowed over like 4 flowers all in a row, had to restart 2. Endy in the lead here in Lawn 3. Coolkid has caught up and is onto Lawn 3. Cosmic, after having some struggles with Lawn 1, is now on 2. And Zandra fuels out again, so it is pretty close. Is Cosmic going to be able to get into the center area here to finish things off?
Yeah, so now with Lawn 3, you've actually seen everything that Lawn Mower has to offer, the last feature being the rocks. So if you hit a rock, unlike the flowers, which just kind of like make you lose a little bit of fuel, the rocks will make you lose about 1/3 of your entire bar. So it's really bad to run over. We're not quite in Lawn 4 yet. Right now it looks like Coolkid is in the lead. He's taking it a bit slow like Endy is. He's liking slowing down so that he doesn't make any false moves.
Yeah, this slow and steady works really well, especially in the early lawns for Lawn Mower. But as you can see, there is kind of one more feature that has been added here, and that's just the lawn is bigger. And so you might think like, okay, so it's a little harder, I guess. But first of all, it's a lot harder. You need to get back to the fuel can when it spawns, and so if that trip is longer, the margin for error basically gets smaller, and also it means visibility becomes a thing. If you're in the middle of the screen and you've got potential lawnmower spawns on either side, as soon as it spawns, you need to go check one of them because you're not going to have enough time otherwise to check both sides.
Yeah. If in case it's not clear by now, the fuel can only spawn where you've already mowed the. So if you're focusing on one entire side, then as you like at the start of the lawn, you're going to know exactly where it can spawn. But as you clear more grass, just like Mythical said, you won't quite know. But Coolkid was able to finish it up. Endy right behind. I think Endy actually made up a bit of time on that lawn.
Yeah, I think you're right. Zandra has moved on to Lawn 4. Cosmic at the very end of Lawn 3 here, but has a lot of grass around the rocks to mow, and it's so easy to get ahead of yourself, but no, Cosmic does not. Manages to finish off Lawn 3, keeping this race nice and close.
Indeed. Also, one thing I noticed with this game is that like you can feel like you're doing everything correctly, and then you make one false move like hitting a rock, and it's so jarring. You just suddenly mow over all the different rocks, and then you just die. So you have to keep your wits about you. But yeah, Endy actually made up quite a bit of time. I don't know if Coolkid out of fueled or what, but Endy now pulled ahead of Coolkid.
Endy is playing incredible. He is picking his spots. He slows down when he needs to. He's fast when he needs to. He's also just being very efficient, right? That's like the next level of lawn. Step 1 is survive, right? Don't hit the rocks, don't hit the flowers. But step 2 is like take paths that take you over as much grass as possible. And to get to that step in a blind race is crazy. But I'm seeing, oh boy, Endy needs to get to the
one tile away. That's what happens. And you could see there, so he ran over a rock, he lost a bunch of fuel. And then I think he actually took the optimal path to get to the next fuel, but just didn't have quite enough. So Coolkid has pulled ahead, but I mean, you can see what happens if you run out of fuel. You just have to do the whole lawn again. I feel actually personally that Lawn 6 is actually the hardest one because some, I don't know, mean gardener just kind of has all these rocks strewn about. So it's not quite kind of the patterns of like blocks of rocks that you need to avoid. They're just all over, and you need to avoid them all.
Yeah, it's a mess. I agree. I think Lawn 6 is the hardest lawn. And I wonder how the players feel, right? When you get to a very difficult lawn and it's only lawn 6 of 10, it's easy to start to think like, what the heck is 7 and 8 going to be, let alone 10? But yeah, it's like human brains work with patterns, right? And there's no patterns here. So it's so different having a pattern, a path that you're trying to cut, rather than trying to make one up on the fly. But Endy, second tries, Lawn 6 blind, has taken the lead from Coolkid, but not by much. Coolkid being very safe, going all the way over to the left to get the fuel. I think he's got it. Oh, what's he doing?
He wants to be a bit conservative. He goes all the way across. He could have finished that last little tile of 3, but he wanted to do it. Finishes lawn 6, moves up to lawn 7. Meanwhile, Cosmic on 6 and Zandra on 5. Lawn 7 is a pretty interesting one. I think it might be the hardest to route. I know Jimmy said he still wants to work on his routing for the... Oh, and he gets hit by an out of fuel too. He gets a lucky spawn, but couldn't quite get there, so he ran out of fuel. But yeah, the thing about the flowers in this game are that once you mow them once, unlike rocks, they go away. So if you want, you could actually purposely run into flowers, get them out of the way, and then never have to deal with them again. But it looks like people, Endy and Coolkid are both just looking to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, you need nerves of steel in order to intentionally go over those flowers, and then it's also like, unless you take out a big chunk of them, it's difficult to like kind of accurately make use of the gap you've made. So I think both players are just like, you know what, if I accidentally hit one, then fine, but until then, I'm just gonna try to be safe. They've done the hardest part here. The middle, these like little cup shapes are definitely the hardest part of Lawn 7. It's just the flowers are all in a line, right? So if you're out of line, you're across an entire line of flowers, and you can run over 1 flower, 2 flowers, 3 if you're lucky, but 4, 5, like all in a row, you're just dead immediately. So it is one false move and you're toast.
Yeah, you can see Coolkid having to deal with a bit of luck. He got a fuel spawns on the way left side over and over again. It looks like he's trying to be a bit conservative. He could actually finish this up. He's being a little too conservative for my taste, I think. He could have finished that up, but instead he just wants to go all the way back for more fuel. But it looks like, yeah, he's being a bit conservative, but he just wants to finish it up. And Endy, meanwhile, finished up 7, moves on to 8. Endy and Coolkid both on lawn 8, Cosmic on lawn 7, and Zandra working on finishing up lawn 6.
I am super impressed with everyone's pace, by the way. I have seen very strong players, gamers of other games, play Lawn Mower and be on it for hours. And we're not even at 10 minutes yet. And there's still a couple more lawns to go, and there's a couple tricky lawns left. But this has been a fantastic job just across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. You can kind of see why we selected these particular racers, because we knew they would give a good show. These are some solid gamers. Lawn 8, so the deal with Lawn 8, it's symmetrical and all that, but similar to Lawn 7, if you're working on the right side of the map and you've only cleared the left side, then like Coolkid gets this way corner spot, which is a bit hard to deal with. So these racers are probably going to be kind of being a bit conservative, mowing a couple spots at a time. Endy actually is not following that idea. He is playing slightly riskier and trying to do an entire side with as much fuel as he can, and it's paying off. He just finished lawn 8 and moving on to 9, whereas Coolkid is being a lot more conservative.
Cosmic has made up a ton of ground, just flew through Lawn 7, has joined Coolkid in Lawn 8. Endy fuels out very quickly in Lawn 9, but does get the lay of the land, understands what's going on here. The flowers are all laid out 3 in a row, which is enough to basically kill you. Barring some extremely good luck, it will kill you. So it looks like, there's not too many flowers, but if you go the wrong way on any patch, it can get you. So now we are tied basically up top between Coolkid and Endy.
No, yeah. Yeah, Andy had a rough death there. That kind of risk taking that he's doing can sometimes cost him. In terms of kind of what I would say is a good blind racing strategy in this game, naturally the trick of this game is kind of the tight turns, like especially with these one tile wide gaps. So if you can kind of look and see these kind of long stretches of grass and just take them all out without needing to turn, you're going to make it a lot easier on yourself. Like for example, these columns of grass between kind of the columns of flowers. I think if you can take all of those out around the same time, you're going to be minimizing the amount of time you're turning and just making it a lot easier for yourself.
Absolutely. But I feel like these guys are good enough that like they don't even have to worry about that too much. Like the whole I'm not gonna lie, a big part of why you want to watch people blind race lawnmower is because you want to see them get chewed up in the blades of the lawnmower a little bit. We cannot understate how difficult it is to control this thing when it's at its top speed. You're looking at like 6 frames to make a turn. Coolkid fuels out there, and Zandra also had a close call. Cosmic just getting the clear and moving on to Lawn 9. But it is so hard to make this thing go where you want it to, and I cannot believe how well, particularly Coolkid and Endy, are handling this thing.
Yeah, Coolkid, that death from Coolkid is particularly nasty. So the way it works is when a fuel spawns, there's a kind of auditory noise that you can hear to let you know that it spawned. But I think Coolkid, I didn't see where the fuel was, but Coolkid must have had the far right side of the screen barely scrolled off screen. And so he scrolled it off the screen a bit. He heard the noise spawn. He thought, oh, well, most of the screen is towards the left. It's probably spawned there. But he got extremely unlucky, and it did not spawn there. Meanwhile, Endy is 73% done with Lawn 10. Is this going to be it, or is he going to fuel out? He gets an unlucky fuel spawn, gets there just in time.
Oh my god! If he gets this time is disgusting. By the way, if he finishes this lawn, it's going to be hands down the fastest blind time. The rock! The rock gets him.
He heard you.
I spoke too soon. That's lawnmower. That's lawnmower. Oh
Yeah.
man.
That was a
Out of
rough
fuel
one.
for Zandra, and Lawn 7 has dropped back now, a 2 lawn gap.
Yeah. So Endy is still the only one in Lawn 10. I spoke too soon as well. Cosmic actually just catches up with them. So Cosmic actually, I haven't seen much blind racing out of him. He's doing really, really exceptionally well. Unfortunately, Coolkid is having a bit of difficulty with 9. But yeah, Endy and Cosmic are both doing well in 10.
This is something I've noticed watching a lot of blind races and commentating them, is that there's this idea of like top speed and acceleration. And I mean, I guess we're literally dealing with a lawnmower that might have these attributes. But in terms of like how a player first adapts to a game, right? There are some people who just hit the ground running and they're off, they get it, and they're moving. And someone else might take a little longer to figure it out, but eventually they do. And then do they get to kind of the same sort of skill ceiling? Because if they do, then the guy who accelerated faster is going to take it, right? But Cosmic had a bit of a slower start, but has figured something out that has given him a higher kind of sort of top speed here. He is at 88% done. He is actually ahead of Endy in terms of percentage.
He has some difficult. Actually, they both have. Man, that's what happens. 94%.
And Endy too.
Yeah, Endy right there as well. Yeah, this is what happens if you, especially at the end of a level, when you've cleared so much of one particular side. If you get an unlucky fuel spawn, that's just what the Mo gives you.
Zandra has made a mess of the flowers here in 7, and she is taking her time getting to the fuel, but she does manage to get back there. I think that says a lot that a player is confident enough to be like, you know, I got time to get a couple squares here before I go get that fuel.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So yeah, Cosmic. I think Cosmic is kind of picking up on what I saw. The difficult part is, yeah, Cosmic is doing it. Cosmic sees that the difficult part is the small little patches of grass in between 2 rocks. He's trying to take the hardest ones out first, and I think that's personally the right. You want to take out those difficult ones first, so that you don't have to deal with them at the very end.
Oh, but he did not respect that the fuel could spawn on the left or right sides of the screen. When that is the case and you're in the middle, you need to go immediately and check 1, because otherwise, if you guess wrong, you lose. And that's what happens to Cosmic. Endy, 93% hits a rock.
Oh, Andy was right there. Oh, I'm sorry. And actually, Andy was the one that was doing what I was talking about, kind of like going in between the grass, taking out the hard ones first. But yeah, I mean, those rocks will get you, and then it's just so hard to recover from that.
Yeah, once on a big lawn like 10, especially with the row of rocks on either side, forcing you to kind of be very high or very low, right? So if you're in the middle somewhere, you need to go up, around them, over, potentially back down. So they force you to take a very long path over to the fuel. And it means that one rock, you're probably dead. You need some very good luck on your spawn in order to get back to that fuel.
Yeah, for sure. Lawn 9 just being extremely mean to Coolkid. I think maybe he'll finish it out. I don't know if he'll want to be conservative. Yeah, Coolkid is very, very conservative with this fuel, and I think that's what's costing him. Because if like he could have finished that out pretty quickly, I think, but he just wanted to make sure. And if you're making sure like too many times, then eventually it's just going to cost you. You're going to hit a rock on your way to the fuel spawn, and it's going to be rough. Oh, is this going to be it for Endy at 95%? Got an unlucky fuel spawn.
Where is
he needs to get there. Barely got it. Is he going to finish it out here?
He deserves it after getting to that fuel. Okay, he is going to play it safe here. I think at the very end, this is the play. Can go as slow as he needs to. Oh, that's it. 16:01, 16:02, something like that. A fantastic blind time from Endy.
Extremely good blind time. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the fastest times I've ever seen. Lawn 10 was a bit rough for him, as it is for many, but he was able to push through. Coolkid actually getting to Lawn 10 now. Kosmic has the kind of quote-unquote knowledge, but we'll see if Coolkid can just kind of pick it up instead. Coolkid is taking out the entire right side. That is definitely what he likes to do, whereas Kosmic, as you said, just kind of clears out both sides. I think he clears out the border first. What do you think of that strategy?
Oh, it's not good. It's a trap. It's a noob trap. Absolutely. It's so easy to mow that grass because the lawnmower can bump up against the edges of the stage and nothing happens. So you're just like, you feel like you're doing so good because you're just continuously mowing all this grass and you're like, oh, it's amazing. But that's the easy stuff, and now the fuel spawns can be literally in all the worst places immediately. So yeah, if possible, you want to actually leave that stuff for later.
Yeah. We'll see. He got a bit lucky this time.
Coolkid.
He might be able to clear it out with one. Oh no, Cosmic!
As Coolkid crosses the finish line. Wow. You can't plan this stuff.
I cannot believe that. That was so unbelievably close. Cosmic had, was it one time? For like
I think it was one.
One tile left.
I think it was literally one. Zandra has mowed a bunch of flowers, but is going to be able to get to the fuel. She's done at least one flower intentionally here, so I don't know if this is strategy or just like vengeance on the flowers that have been giving her such trouble. But look at this lawn; it's a disaster. She's going to get fired as soon as the client comes home and sees
I know, right? Done. And you can't just say, "Oh, I just wanted to be able to get to the fuel." Either the client's not going to accept that.
They're like, "Why? What do you mean? Did you bring your own fuel?" Like, no, it respawns randomly. What?
And what did you do to my rocks? Actually, there's no rocks in this one.
Not in this one.
All right. Let's
Cosmic.
see, Cosmic.
Oh wow, the lucky spawn. Even the fuel right there to catch him. Cosmic is now done, which means I think we're gonna lose our game audio here. Actually, the 3 players providing us with game audio are the ones who have finished. So we might get some background music. Hopefully, we get something as we watch and cheer on Zandra here, who has been completely walled by Lawn 7, but we're very far along. Opting not to go through the middle, which is going to cost some time. Oh my goodness, please. Oh.
All right, she's going to finish it off with this can. Oh, she loves just cutting through those flowers. Like I said, it's not a bad strategy, but if you do it, I would opt to do it at the start of the lawn. But works out for her.
All right, 3 lawns to go here. 8, 9, 10 are all left. Blecky, I don't know if you know this, because you know your time with Lawn Mower was pretty early on, but someone did an all flowers run.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me, man. That wasn't.
No, it was. Oh boy, I think it was FCJ. I can't remember, but I love it. I don't actually have a run on the Lawn Mower leaderboard in the any percent category, I only have one on the all flowers category, where you mow all the flowers and the residue that's left afterwards,
Oh,
just to
that's right.
completely obliterate every trace left of them.
Does does
Yeah,
the residue lower your fuel? It doesn't, right?
it does not,
Okay,
but
but it
it
is just more to do.
yes, and you can have some residue left, and then you mow the last piece of grass, and it's like you're done, and you're like, but no,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not done, and you lose, you have to reset. Um, but I like that category because it puts the fear in you. You have to optimally mow as many flowers as you dare before you go get the fuel again, right? So you're scrambling for the fuel spawns in a way that is similar to when you first played Lawnmower. It captures that emotion that I think is so key here.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
Zandra is about to one shot Lawn 8 here, I think. A
She can
couple of
definitely finish it. Oh, she
yeah.
does.
So that was helped out by one good fuel spawn. Prior to that, there was a really bad fuel spawn all the way on the left side. Whoop, there's some flowers. We're okay. Oh, she's
Yeah,
doing an
and
all flowers run.
yeah. Starting level 9, decided to do a category shift. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's really not bad to mow over those flowers, because if you have a fuel spawn in between two like rows of flowers, and if they're still there, it's going to be hard for you to do it. But if they're gone, then it's just so much easier to navigate.
Doing some ring around the rosy here, and I've noticed she's not letting off the accelerator, right? Going full speed for the most part. I think it was Endy and Coolkid and eventually Cosmic's willingness to, wow, the good luck on the fuel needs more good luck. Is going to be able to get there. The willingness to slow down was super helpful to all the players.
Yeah, for sure. So you can kind of see there what I mentioned before. Like if you hit a rock, then I don't know if it's the jarring sound or what, but if you hit one rock, just everything goes to crap, and it's hard mentally to recover. Lawnmower is a very psychological game, in case that was not yet clear.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous when he says it, but I cannot echo it hard enough. It is absolutely that kind of game, and it's part of the appeal, I guess. Like I've been trying to, I feel like I'm starting a thesis on Lawnmower and why I love it so much and why people love it so much. And part of it is like it's the ring toss effect, where it looks so easy, but it's actually so hard.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on. How is Zandra getting away with it? She literally got a frame perfect fuel grab. The lawnmower stopped for just a little bit, and that's what happens when you grab it on the last possible frame.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of a fun fact here for you, Mythical. So as you may know, as we're watching Zandra finishing up Lawn 9 or work, as you may know, in many kind of like say GDQ, oh no, Zandra hits that rock. But in many GDQ runs, one favorite thing to do of kind of indie games is to bring in the developer. And for some reason, so this is a, what is it called? Not freelance game, homebrew game. This is a homebrew game. It wasn't released on the original NES, believe it or not. Zandra. Yeah. But so I actually emailed the developer shortly before this race, asking to see if he had heard of all this. He actually had no idea that people were speed running this game, and he couldn't believe it. Like, I don't think he really knew much about speedrunning in general, but I asked him a little bit about it, and yeah, he was saying that kind of like even developing this game was a bit of a speed run. He had to develop it pretty quickly. But yeah, it was very cool to me to find out that he had no idea that this existed. Right in what's probably, honestly, the kind of like best part of, oh no, Zandra. The best parts of the speedrunning, when you have this kind of intense competition between USA and France. It's fun stuff. I had a fun little chat with him.
That's awesome. What must it feel like to be like, you know, if he made this game very quickly, then, you know, it's the kind of thing where like you're like, oh, you know, it was a cute thing I did in a weekend or whatever, and like you're kind of proud of it. But then to realize like what other people have done with it, and like I don't know, that must be like equal parts terrifying and rewarding.
I know, right? Especially in a venue like I linked in the GDQ run when it was a race between three of us, and like what it must be like to watch your game played in front of a huge crowd, like a
Yeah.
longer lawnmower, like kind of what you probably consider to be a semi-jokey game. Pretty great.
A big live crowd, and then you blow his mind with like the, by the way, there was, why it was, this is what, like 2015 or something, so probably like 15,000 people watching
Yeah,
live.
for sure. He's actually made a bunch of fun games. So we mentioned that Lawnmower is kind of saw its popularity, its first kind of reveal in Mystery Tournament. And we actually found, because since we're already always in, 95%, all right, I got to stop and watch Zandra finish this out. I really want her to do it.
It's got to be it, right? She's going slow. She's going all the way for the fuel. This is
Take
it.
this last one slow. No
Oh
rock.
boy, what do we do?
No
Okay.
flowers. Just finished. No. Moving on to lawn 10, the final lawn of the game. Yeah, I think honestly for Zandra, the most difficult lawn so far has been 7 by far.
Yeah, my difficulty curve, I think, is 6, then 10, then 7. Actually, I think it is quite difficult. And
Yeah.
also, Zandra's like a couple minutes back from all these other competitors. And if any of you were thinking like, oh man, like not so good, but this is still among like some of the best blind times here. Like I was a 31 minutes. Legendary mystery tournament competitor Andy and 4H was right around 26 minutes on his first playthrough.
Ooh,
Like,
that's right.
yeah, this is like it really was just the other three were just that good.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, in the first blind race I did with 20 people in it, the 7th place time was 32. So so if Zandra finished before 32, and had joined that big race, she would have finished well above, like in the top 33%. So still doing really, really well. I can see why she's done so well at Cuso Grande.
Yeah, bailed out a little bit there by a lucky fuel spawn, but you need a little bit of luck, and then you got to take that and convert it into something, right? 63%. The entire left side of the lawn is left though, so on lawn 10 this is tricky because the fuel can will spawn in all those little nooks and crannies on the right side. So not only do you need to go, like, if you're in the middle here and it spawns, you need to go up, over, down, and then potentially like wiggling around rocks just to get to the fuel, then retrace your steps backwards. Another fuel can bailing out Zandra. Is this going to be enough?
Yeah, that one wasn't quite unquite lucky per se, but it definitely was not unlucky. So a common strategy is to just like take it very conservatively when you don't know where the fuel spawn is, like on the other side, and just kind of always picking it up when you see it, and then just waiting for a really good one. Like right here,
Yeah.
Zandra's fuel spawn is really good. So, she might even finish it out if she goes extra slow, which is definitely the right idea, and does finish it out sub 28. Really, really good time.
Yay!
Welcome back. Let's get everyone in here. Zandra, you finished 4th among our competitors, but we were saying, we've seen a lot of people blind race this game. Your time is still in like the top like 30% or something. Like it really is a good time.
Nice, thank you so much. I had so much fun with this game. Gosh, what a fun game.
What was it you liked so much about it?
I really love the aesthetics and like the music is just great, but also it's so simple, but like, okay, because a little bit of background is like, I've been a game designer for 20 years and this game has such like very, very simple mechanics, but they're so well designed because there's the whole thing about like fuel only spawns where you've been. Immediately routing becomes such a huge part of this game, and the other side of it being like you have to be extremely precise with your movements, and fuel will go down at the same rate whether you're putting on the throttle or not. And like it's just these like this game was like a very simple in concept, but it all comes together so beautifully. I'm in awe. I love this game. This is great.
I got a big smile on my face. This is exactly what I wanted.
I'm so glad.
Endy is also here. Endy,
Yes.
This is maybe the best blind time I've ever seen in this game. I'm shocked.
Well, I do have some IRL lawn mowing experience, quite a bit of it, so I guess that transferred someone. No,
You saw the rock and you were like, now I know that's trouble.
You know what? I was actually thinking that when I hit the rock, the screeching sound it makes, I was like, oh shit, that's exactly, that's the feeling you get when you hit a rock, when you do it in real life. That's when the blade hits the rock, So I was really careful not to hit the rock. No, but honestly, I think Zandra, that was a good explanation. I was thinking the same things. There was a lot of game mechanic things you found out as you went, like about the fuel cans only being able to spawn at certain locations. At first, I thought locations were set, because I had, like, if I failed, I had a set pattern I did, and it seemed to spawn it the same way, but I think it was because I played the same. I'm not sure. But then I realized it's because of the, where you have been and not. So I think the most important thing was when I realized that the fuel depleted at the same time, no matter what it did. So I kind of only used the slow mechanics when I knew there was a fuel nearby. Otherwise, whenever I could hear the fuel, and I couldn't see it, then I most of the time immediately went to the other side of the screen for safety, because better safe than sorry. Because it really depleted fast. It felt like it depleted faster the final half there.
Yeah, so the game can be a bit tricky in terms of, like, the first few levels are definitely just kind of to get your feet wet with the game and make you understand, and then suddenly right around maybe like Lawn 6, it ramps up in difficulty. So as you started getting into these harder levels, Endy, what did you need to change to make sure that you weren't like dying so much?
Not that much, honestly. I mean, I felt I had a pretty good control over the fast moving. I mean, sometimes it was almost, since whenever you let go of the acceleration button, there was kind of a delay until you actually slowed down, like a tile or something. So it kind of felt awkward. So I don't think I changed that much. I mean, there was the screen. I mean, basically the only difference felt was that the screens became, longer. Longer distance, potential distance. But the thing I did, I tried a few different things, but the thing I went for in the end, I was trying to clear one side at a time, so I at least knew where the fuel was going to spawn, I think. I was also considering a strat if a fuel spawned like behind the flowers, that I would mow down the flowers as well to clear a path, but in the end I didn't go for that much. But I don't really know what went through in my head. I just
You just felt it.
Mow the lawn.
You sure did. Again, 16 minutes, incredible time. Congrats again on winning, and thanks so much for coming out.
It was awesome. I mean, I really like this game. It's not something I'm gonna speedrun, I think, but it was a blast to play. It was really well done, I have to say.
I actually have a question for Coolkid as well. Coolkid, so just so you guys know, Coolkid and Endy, you guys went into stage 9 right around the same time. Maybe Coolkid even barely ahead, but it wouldn't have been by more than a few. But yeah, Coolkid, that Lawn 9 is really what kind of took you down as far as not taking first place. Once you started messing up on Lawn 9, what was going through your head?
I don't know. I had super sharp focus, but then once I ran out of fuel once, I kind of just lost the focus and started to run into more flowers and rocks.
Is there something about Lawn 9 in particular that you feel like was harder than others?
And I don't know, actually. It was the Lawn 9 definitely I got many times. I don't know how many times I ran a fuel by the end, but yeah, I don't know what it was, but it's just that lawn.
Gotcha. And Zandra, similarly, Lawn 7 is the one that did you in way more so than 8 through 10. What do you think it is about Lawn 7 that you were having to?
Oh, I know this one. It's the flowers.
Can you refresh my memory? What was Lawn 7?
The U-shapes flowers.
Oh, like it looked like the flowers was like spelling out a word in the middle?
Sort of, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so the thing is, I was trying to like Pac-Man it around corners, but I could never quite get the timing right on when to cut a corner. So I would often like turn too quickly or too late, and I was already I tried to plan my route out and be like multiple steps ahead. But when I messed up a turn, it would like when you're offset all of my other moves, and I had a moment of panic where like, oh no, okay, I have to readjust, and then it threw me off completely because it's like I could never quite figure out when was the point where you would turn into the current lane or buffer the input and turn it to the next one, and that really caused me a lot of trouble. But after that, I sort of figured out how to like feather the throttle during turns, and got a little bit of a better time. And also, I did the thing I think Endy mentioned where I would sometimes cut through flowers just to open up a path that I could use later for fuel.
Yeah, that was a really good idea, I think.
Yeah, seems like
Oh, sorry.
the thing so initially I cleared one side at a time, but it seemed better if you kind of worked of both sides, because then the fuel could spawn. Because like if I worked at one side at a time and then I went over to the other side, since the fuel would only spawn on grass that you already cut, you always had to like go back really far to get more fuel. But if you worked,
I noticed that too, but
Yep. Near the end, I also tried to like, I'll just open up a lane near like where I'm going sometimes, just in case it like helps me.
what I did there on the final stage, which was very long, I mean, I actually looked visually how much fuel I had, and then I just took the entire screen drive to the other side to kind of make a measurement on how much fuel how much I could mow before I had to turn back for a potential fuel spawn. So, but I also think that one thing you were talking about, Coolkid, I think this game is very momentum based. I mean, maybe that's the wrong word, but once you messed up something, you kind of got stressed. I realized that as well, because I was very close to finishing the final stage, like the first or maybe second attempt. I was really close, and then I died, and then I instantly like screwed up a few times more before I eventually refocused. So as long as you were in the zone, basically nothing could stop you. then it all went to crap. So
if it could stop you, those darn rocks and flowers.
And that rock sound.
Like
We'll talk to Cosmic in just a second, but I do want to remind everyone that we're not done. We are going to have a 5v5 lawnmower relay race after this.
Wait for that now. I mean, I was not excited. I'm gonna be honest here. I was not super excited before this event. Like I was like, okay, can I do this blind race? Get out. I'm watching this.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, before we get into that though, Cosmic, you got off to like a slower start, I think, than others, but at some point you hit your stride and you started flying.
Yeah, man, that's kind of me. I don't think I pick things up insanely fast, but once I get it, I kind of really get it. For me, it was Lawn 8, I think, that I messed up a bunch. I don't even remember what it was. I just remembered thinking at the beginning, yeah, I'm going pretty slow. I'm probably behind. But then I was like doing really good until 8, I didn't do good. And then I think 9, I did great. And 10, I almost beat it like first try. I almost got like 13 minutes, but I hit a rock at like 90-something% done. And then just, yeah, the whole momentum thing they're talking about. It took me 5 more minutes to beat it. And this game's awesome. I love like the risk reward of it. And I feel like I made good decisions on risk reward for like clearing as much easy grass as I could before I grabbed the fuel can. But it was just like a few fatal errors. You just hit the rock at the wrong moment and lose all your progress. But I'm sure that's how it went for everyone.
Yeah, it's also like I really relate to what you said about the like taking time to ramp up. I think like it took me like way longer than everyone else, but by level 10, then I was like in the zone and like, okay, I think I finally got how this game works.
I just love, like, can everyone pay attention to how excitedly everyone is discussing lawnmower strategy after playing the game? You can tell like the hooks got in a little bit here.
It's such a
You
good
need to
game.
show this to like some Zelda 1 players, because all they do is like walk around on a grid all day.
That's true, but Zelda has the thing where like if you're in the middle and you're like a little bit off to one side and then you press like the a parallel or a perpendicular direction, Link will kind of like slide back
Like pulls
and then
you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawnmower does not do that. Once you're going, you're gone. they might hate it. But also, it's Lawnmower, so they might love it.
I kind of want to make my own version of this. This is just like, I'm really inspired. This is great.
You guys might be interested to know that this game captured the hearts and minds of many blind speedrun community members who are themselves a little handy with homebrew and ROM hack and stuff like that, game dev. There's some more lawn mowing games that we could introduce you to later on.
Nice.
I feel like I'm in a back alley with a trench coat, like
You want to buy a lawn mowing game?
Well, okay. Let's do some final shout outs. Let people know where they can find you. I'm gonna go down. Coolkid, you're up first.
Oh, hey. I don't have any shout outs to give. I'd just like to thank you all very much for having me.
You can find him on twitch.tv/coolkid. Up next is Endy.
Oh, shout outs to my family, my friends, my fans. No, seriously, I don't have any serious shout outs either. Thank you so much, Speed Gaming, for hosting the event, and thank you, Jimmy Poopins, who invited me for this blind race. And good luck to all the USA and France runners. This is going to be great. And you can find me soon playing Batman, most likely, on twitch.tv/EndySWE. Thank you.
Perfect. Cosmic.
I wanted to thank Jimmy for inviting me, and I haven't listened to the commentary, but I'm definitely going to go back and see the whole race. Thanks, guys, for commentating. I'm sure it was hilarious. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And yeah.
All right. And last, Zandra.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this event. This has been great. I love this a whole bunch, and thank you to Aura and Amber for your ever-present support, and also thanks to the Xanderverse community in my Discord who just in the chat cheering me on. I really appreciate it. And I'm at Zandra Vandra on pretty much everything on Twitch and on Twitter, and I'm always on Twitter except when I'm asleep, and you'll know when I'm asleep because I say goodnight every day.
Oh. Well, all right. That's going to wrap up our blind race. Once again, thank you to all the competitors. Congratulations to everyone. Blecky, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Go Team USA in the upcoming relay. But it's going to be a really fun race, and I'll be in chat watching. A quick shout out to Shiru, the developer of this game, who develops a lot of other fun, cool games too. And also to Boney, who I believe found this game in the first place. But not only that, is just killing it with Mystery Tournament, without which we would have never found this gem one way or the other. And to Nighty and Freeball as well, both of whom developed the fun kind of fan-made sequels of this game. It's a really fun game. Can't wait to watch the relay. Good luck.
All right, and I'm Mythical9. I'll be here to cast the relay in just a little bit with Twin. I think we should probably take maybe 2 or 3 minutes break, and I think we'll play some ads is what we'll do. We'll come back. We'll introduce this relay race, USA versus France. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be good.